Masterteam 87, in which the team from Northern Ireland, Carrick +1, play the Hoyland Stars from Barnsley. Hello and welcome to this, the second of our semi-finals in Masterteam 87. Well, yesterday the Garbologists from Derby won through to the final on Monday, and the next 25 minutes will tell us which team will be meeting them in that programme. It'll either be the team from Northern Ireland or the team from Barnsley. But before we get down to the serious business of asking the questions, let's just ask our teams to introduce themselves. First of all, the trio that come from Northern Ireland, and they are...
Good evening, I'm Michael McGivern. I'm a civil servant, and I'd just like to take this opportunity to wish the Highland Stars all the best.
Hello, I'm Janet Copeland. I teach in Ardnavay High School in Antrim, but I live in Ballyhackamore in Belfast.
Hello, I'm David Beattie, and I'm still taking stick from Janet.
But they play as a team very well together, called the Carrick +1 from Northern Ireland. He doesn't really take much stick. Certainly the team that come from Barnsley don't. Let's meet them. They are...
Good evening. I'm Alan Pickering, and I'd like to say hello to Fred and Mary, who are mine hosts at the Star Island Common.
Hello, I'm Ian Guest. I teach history and religious studies at Chaucer School in Sheffield.
And I'm Brian Jepson, at present unemployed, but have just been awarded the bar to my UB40.
Those are the Hoyland Stars from Barnsley. Right, lady and gentlemen, for this, the second of our semi-finals. You're playing, of course, for a place in Monday's final. If you'd like to put your fingers on the buzzer, let's get this semi-final underway with Team Challenge. Let's play. Who designed the metal framework for the Statue of Liberty? Alan.
Bartholdi.
No. Too late. Gustav Eiffel. Which soccer team won the gold medal in the Olympic Games? David?
France.
Correct. Who wrote Carrie and The Shining? David?
Keane.
Correct. Which American presidential candidate had the slogan AUH2O in 1964?
Barry
Alan.
Goldwater.
Correct. What is the name of the Channel Islands special public holiday, which is usually on May the... Alan?
Battle of the Flowers.
No, incorrect challenge. Bonus point to the opposition and full question. What is the name of the Channel Islands special public holiday, which is usually on May the 9th? Michael?
Florida?
No, Liberation Day. Politically, what have Winifred Ewing, Sir Frederick Catherwood and Barbara Castle in common? Janet?
MEPs.
Correct. Yes, indeed, they're all members of the European Parliament, and at the end of that first round of Team Challenge, the scores are that Carrick +1 have 7, the Hoyland Stars from Barnsley have 2. Well, after Team Challenge, we give our teams an opportunity to play together and to confer on the answers in the team that we call, in the round rather, that we call It's All Yours. The team that's trailing at this point go first, and as Barnsley are 5 points behind, with 2 to Northern Ireland's 7, it means that they go first. So, Barnsley, if you're ready, for 1 minute, it's all yours. Which American state has the abbreviation CO?
Colorado.
Correct. Who played the title roles in Dempsey and Makepeace?
Pass.
Glynis Barber, Michael Brandon. Who teamed up with Bananarama to sing It Ain't What You Do, It's the Way That You Do It?
Bomboy 3.
Correct. What are the 3 cities in Hampshire?
Winchester, Southampton and Portsmouth.
Correct. What answer did Edgar Allan Poe's Raven give to every question asked of it?
Nevermore.
Correct. What is the full name of the trade union USDOR?
Union of Shop Distributive and Allied Workers.
Correct. Which 4 nations joined Britain as permanent members of the UN Security Council?
China, France, Russia and the USA.
Correct. On which river does Melbourne stand?
Pass.
The Yarra. What is the solo instrument in Berlioz's Harold in Italy?
Pass.
The viola. What was the name of the treaty which signalled the end of the Boer War in 1902?
Paris.
The Treaty of Vereeniging. And at the end of that round, you have scored 12 points, team, so that means that your total is now 14. Now, Carrick, time to put your heads together for 1 minute, because it's all yours. Which American state has the abbreviation ME?
Maine.
Maine.
Correct. Name the actresses who play Cagney and Lacey.
Tyne Daly and Sharon Glass.
Correct. Who teamed up with Eurythmics to sing Sisters Are Doing It for Themselves?
Aretha Franklin.
Correct. What are the 3 most easterly counties in England?
Norfolk, Northumberland.
No, Norfolk, Suffolk and Kent. What is the name of the dog who accompanied 3 men in a boat?
Patch.
Montmorency. What is the full name of the trade union SOGAT 82?
Society of Graphical and Allied Trades.
Correct. In which 4 countries does half of the world's population live?
India. China. Brazil.
No, India, China, Russia, America. Upon which river does Calcutta stand?
Ganges.
The river Hooghly. For which instrument did Schumann compose his Albumblätter?
Clarinet.
I'm sorry?
Clarinet.
No, it was for the piano. And at the end of that round, Carrick, you have scored 8 points, so your total is now 15. Well, for our first spotlight round, it's Carrick who'll get first choice, and they can put a member of the Hoyland Stars into the spotlight. So who's it going to be, Carrick?
We'll have Brian, please.
Brian, that was a quick decision. Would you like to choose then, please, from sport, history, living world, food and drink, current affairs, or the 1960s?
Try food and drink, please.
Food and drink is your spotlight subject, Brian, and your 1 minute starts now. Creme de cassis is a liqueur made from which fruit?
Blackcurrant.
Correct. What nuts are used in a Bakewell pudding or tart?
Almond.
Correct. Cider is made from fermented apple juice. What name is given to fermented pear juice?
Perry.
Correct. What meat is cooked in the dish how towdy?
Chicken.
Correct. Blue Vinny is a type of what?
Cheese.
Correct. Seed cake contains which type of seed?
Caraway.
Correct. The addition of what turns a martini into a Gibson?
An olive.
No, an onion. Which plantain is commonly found in greengrocers?
Banana.
Correct. In Japanese cooking, what is sashimi?
Pass.
Raw fish. What is stuffed in the dish called Love in Disguise?
Mussels.
A heart. What was Mrs. Beeton's Christian name?
Elizabeth.
Isabella. What is the name of the Italian dish made from ground maize?
Pass.
Polenta. What sort of beverages are... It's still yours. What sort of beverages are gunpowder and hyson?
Tea.
Correct. At the end of that round, you have scored 16 points, and so your team total is 30. Now, Barnsley, which member of the Carrick team are you going to put into the spotlight, please?
Janet, please.
Janet, you can choose from sport, history, living world, current affairs, or the 1960s.
Current affairs, please.
Your spotlight subject for 1 minute, Janet, is current affairs, and your time starts now. Who was the cellist who died recently from multiple sclerosis at the age of 42?
Jacqueline Dupre.
Correct. Which jockey achieved a hat-trick of wins in the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe when winning this year's race on Trampolino?
Cawthon.
Pat Edery. Which member of the royal family took part in the Archers in 1984?
Princess Margaret.
Correct. Which senior diplomatic post is held by Mr. Charles Price?
Ambassador to Washington.
No, he's the US ambassador in London. In June 1981, Bani Sadra was ousted as president of which country?
Sinan.
Iran. What is the name of the first black woman leader of a London Labour Council who resigned at the beginning of October?
Linda Bellis.
Merle Amory. What nationality is this year's Miss World?
Austrian.
Correct. What is the name of Radio 4's new drama serial which started in October?
Pass.
Citizens. To which football team has Tommy Docherty recently been appointed manager?
Derby.
Altrincham. Who was the British pianist who last year won the Tchaikovsky competition? It's
Barry.
still yours. Who was the British pianist who last year won the Tchaikovsky competition in Moscow?
Barry Douglas.
It was. You couldn't wait to get the answer right. And at the end of that round, you have scored 8 points, Janet, so your team now has a total of 23. So we bring the computer into play now because we're about to play in a spin. The teams are ready, so we'll spin the letters. H is the first letter of the sequence. That's the first letter of your word, followed by H and A, and your 30 seconds starts now. Time is up, teams. Pencils down, please. First of all, Northern Ireland, the number of letters in your word.
21.
Thank you. Barnsley, the number of letters in your word.
19.
Thank you. Carrick, your word and spell it, please.
Hexamethane tetramine.
And it's spelled?
H-E-X-A-M-E-T-H-Y-A-N-E-T-R-A-M-I-N-E.
Thank you. Barnsley, your word and spell it, please.
Historiographically. H-I-S-T-O-R-I-O-G-R-A-P-H-I-C-A-L-L-Y.
Thank you. Well, the computer came up with H, H, and A for this, the second of our semi-finals, and I think you know that our teams are conspiring to try and just give me tongue twisters, because if you were with us yesterday, you'll know what I'm talking about. Tonight we've got another one in 21 letters from Northern Ireland, hexamethylene tetramine, which, in fact, has 22 letters in, if it is spelt correctly, which sadly it wasn't, because there's one letter left out. The L is left out. Incidentally, the word is one that refers to chemicals that are used in making plastics. So then from Barnsley we had a 19-letter word, historiographically, which is all about the writing of history. That word has been spelt correctly, so although it is the shorter of the two words with just 19 letters compared to 21 or 22, it is that word that gets the 5 bonus points, so Hoyland now have 35 points. And this is the point in the game where we put another 2 members of our teams into the spotlight, and it's Barnsley who get first choice this time, and they can put either Michael or David into the spotlight for Carrick.
Michael, please.
Michael, it's your choice from sport, history, living world, or the 1960s.
Sport, please, Angela.
That's your spotlight subject, Michael, for 1 minute, and your time starts now. Which famous sportsman is known as the White Shark?
Greg Norman.
Correct. Who did France beat in the final of the 1984 European Soccer Championships?
Spain.
Correct. In which country would you find the test venue of Kandy?
India.
No, Sri Lanka. What is the duration of an international netball game?
60 minutes.
Correct. Who won a record 6 men's singles titles in the French tennis championships between 1974 and 81?
Borg.
Correct. Which British boxer lost his European middleweight title to Sambu Kalambi at Wembley in May?
Harold Graham.
Correct. For which French club does Scottish striker Mo Johnston play?
Lyon.
It's Nantes. On which race course is the Scottish Grand National run?
Ayr.
Correct. Which athlete was the first to break 3 minutes 50 seconds for the mile?
John Walker.
Correct. Which rider won the show jumping Hickshead Derby for 4 years in succession in the 70s?
Eddie Mackin.
Correct. Which Olympic sport includes the classes 470, soling and tornado?
Pass.
Yachting. How many players are there in a baseball team?
9.
Correct. At the end of that round, Michael, you have scored 18 points in the spotlight. Your team have 41. Now, Carrick, on the Barnsley team, Alan or Ian have still to go into the spotlight. Who will it be, please?
We'll have Ian, please.
Ian, there's history, living world, or the 1960s to choose from.
I think I'll try history, please.
Okay, it's your spotlight subject. You also teach it.
Correct.
You have 1 minute, and your time starts now. What relation was Emperor Franz Joseph to his heir, Archduke Ferdinand, who was assassinated at Sarajevo?
Grandfather.
Uncle. Where in France was the tennis court oath made?
Versailles.
Correct. Who flew from Calais to Dover in 1909?
Blériot.
Correct. Which Egyptian king was responsible for the construction of the rock-hewn temples at Abu Simbel?
Tutankhamun.
Ramesses II. Which king of England earned the nickname the Peacemaker?
Pass.
Edward VII, Robert Peel reintroduced income tax in his budget of 1842. At how many pence in the pound was it levied?
5.
7 pence. In 1797, which fleet was defeated by Admiral Duncan off Camperdown?
The combined French and Spanish.
No, the Dutch fleet. Who or what was a 49er?
Someone who went to California in the gold rush.
Correct. Which 17th century architect reconstructed the house that became known as Kensington Palace?
Vanbrugh.
Sir Christopher Wren. Who was the Chancellor of the Exchequer who in 1949 devalued the pound? It's still yours, you may answer. Who was the Chancellor of the Exchequer who in 1949 devalued the pound?
Bevin.
Sir Stafford Cripps. Ian, at the end of that round, you have scored 6 points in the spotlight, so your team now has 41. Well, this is where we're going to play in a spin again, and as you can see from the scores, the teams are all level. 41 to Carrick, 41 to Hoyland, who I wonder will pick up the 5 bonus points as we play this round and spin the letters. First letter of your sequence, that's the first letter of your word, followed by M, and your 30 seconds starts now. Time is up, teams. Pencils down, please. First of all, Carrick, the number of letters in your word.
14.
Thank you. Hoyland, the number of letters in your word.
14.
Thank you. Carrick, your word, and will you spell it, please?
Overmanagement.
Spelt?
Overmanagement.
Thank you. Barnsley, your word, and will you spell it, please?
Ometaphobiacs.
Thank you.
Ometaphobiacs.
Thank you. So let's just recap then on the 3 letters that came up on the screen. They were O, M, and M, and that produced overmanagement with 14 letters from Carrick, and omnatophobiacs with 14 letters in it from Barnsley. You'd think a nice simple word like overmanagement would be very easy to find in the dictionary, wouldn't you? It doesn't exist, I'm afraid. It's simply not there. And if it were there, it would have a hyphen in it because it is 2 words and not 1. And the second word, regrettably, has been incorrectly spelt by Barnsley. It should be spelled O-M-M-A-T-A, and if it was spelt correctly, it would mean someone who has a fear of the eyes. So there are no points to give in that round, which means that the score stays at 41 to Carrick and 41 to Hoyland. Now back to our final round of It's All Yours, and the rule here is whichever team is trailing at this point goes first. As you can see, both teams are all level, so as it was Hoyland who had first go in the first half of the programme, it's Carrick who'll go first this time. So Carrick, heads together please, and for 1 minute, it's all yours. What is the capital of the American state of Iowa?
Des Moines.
Correct. Which 2 female singers duetted in 1979 on No More Tears, Enough Is Enough?
Pass.
Barbara Streisand, Donna Summer. Which English king was the father of Margaret Tudor?
Henry VII.
Correct. What is the last line of the carol Silent Night?
Pass.
Sleep in heavenly peace. Which are the 4 royal dukes?
Edinburgh.
No. Duke of Cornwall, Duke of Gloucester, Duke of Kent, Duke of York. Which character in MASH is played by William Christopher?
The Colonel.
Father Mulcahy. Name 4 James Bond films which starred Sean Connery.
Doctor No from Russia with Love.
Dr. No from Russia with Love. Goldfinger.
And give us one of the other ones. Diamonds Are Forever.
Diamonds Are Forever.
Correct. In 1492, which was the last Moorish city in Spain to surrender to Ferdinand and Isabella? You may still
Granada.
answer. Correct. At the end of that round, Carrick, you have scored 8 points. Your team total is now 49. Now, Barnsley, if you are ready for 1 minute, it's all yours. What is the capital of the American state of Vermont?
Montpellier.
Montpellier.
Correct. Which two comedy actors duetted in 1975 on Whispering Grass?
Don Estelle and Windsor Davis.
Correct. Which English king was born at Wantage?
John.
Alfred the Great. What is the first line of the second verse of God Save the Queen?
Long live our noble queen.
Long live our noble queen.
Thy choicest gifts in store. Who were the first 4 presidents of the United States?
Washington.
Washington.
Adams.
Adams.
Jefferson.
Jefferson.
Madison.
Madison.
Monroe is the 4th. Which police captain was Kojak's boss?
Frank.
No. Oh, sorry.
Pass.
Captain McNeil. Name 4 men who have married Elizabeth Taylor.
Burton. Richard Burton. Conrad Hilton. Eddie. Warner. And Eddie Fisher.
Yes, I can accept that. Eddie Fisher, you didn't give me his full name. The Warner was the politician John Warner. The rest were correct. And at the end of that round, Barnsley, you have scored 6 points. So your team total is now 47. Well, it's a close semi-final, this. The scores before we go into our final round of Team Challenge, let's just remind ourselves. Carrick +1 have 49. The Hoyland Stars have 47. Everything to play for in this last round, teams. Fingers on the buzzers if you're ready. Let's play. Richard John Bingham has been wanted by police for some years. How is he better? Janet.
Bacon.
Correct. Who wrote the book, The African Queen? David.
Hemingway.
No.
C.S. Forrester.
Correct. In which waterway will the Bitter Lakes be found? David?
St. George's Channel.
No. Brian?
Slave Lake.
The Suez Canal. Which soccer club has the undying support of the Right Honourable Michael Foot? Ian?
Plymouth Argyle.
Correct. Who created the schoolboy Jennings? Ian?
Anthony Buckeridge.
Correct. What is the profession of Alistair Blair and Rifat Ozbek? Janet?
Dress designers.
Correct. Which Romanian tennis player married Bjorn Borg? David?
Simeonescu.
Correct. The Soldier is a poem by Rupert Brooke. Alan?
If I should die, think on this of me.
Correct. What can be apron or proscenium? Janet?
An arch.
No. Brian?
A stage.
Correct. If you told the gastronome Briant Savarin what you ate, what would he have told you? Brian? You must have an answer immediately.
The illness you've eaten it for.
No. Janet?
What sort of person you were?
I can accept that. Correct. What you are. In which year were elections to the European Parliament last? David?
1981.
No. Incorrect challenge. Bonus point to the opposition. In which year were elections to the European... No conferring. Which year were elections to the European Parliament last held?
1979.
No. For whose coronation did William Walton write the March... David?
George VI.
Correct.
Brilliant.
The full question, for whose coronation did William Walton write the March Crown Imperial? A great 2 points added right on the very last second there by Carrick, but unfortunately that is not the final score, because I don't think this has ever happened before in our programme. We unfortunately had an incorrect piece of information on one of our answer cards, and in the It's All Yours round, when I asked the team from Barnsley who were the first 4 presidents of the United States, they actually gave me the correct quartet. The 4th gentleman was Madison and not Monroe, as it says on my card, so we do owe them another 2 points, which means that we end the semi-final all level, 58 to Carrick, 58 to Hoyland. So, for only the 2nd time in this series, I have to ask a tiebreaker. I will ask you the entire question. You may not interrupt it, and you must answer when I have finished the question. In which county is Sizewell, the site of the nuclear power station? David?
Norfolk.
No. Ian?
Lincoln.
No, it's Suffolk. Richard Thomas played the eldest son of which long-running American television family? Michael?
Waltons.
Correct. Well, that has got to be the most exciting and breathtaking finish to any semi-final that we have had in the 3 years of Masterteam so far. It means that Carrick +1 with 60 points are indeed our finalists. We'll be seeing them again on Monday when they'll be meeting the Garbologists in the final for Masterteam of 87. Hope you have a great weekend. Come back and join us on Monday, because I know it's going to be a marvellous final. Till then, from us, goodbye.